It was a bitterly cold night when I first arrived at the Saint Agnes Hospital. An unexpected car accident had left me with a broken arm and a gash on my forehead. I recall shivering, not from the cold, but from the eerie silence that hung in the air. Saint Agnes was the oldest functioning hospital in town. Its ancient, grim facade was a stark contrast to the newer, state-of-the-art hospitals elsewhere. This night, the hallway leading to the emergency room was dimly lit, with flickering fluorescent lights that seemed to be gasping for life. A receptionist pointed me towards the waiting room. "Doctor will see you soon," she said without looking up from her magazine. The waiting room, filled with worn-out blue chairs, was empty. No nurses, no patients, just a small TV mounted on the wall broadcasting static. As minutes turned to hours, the unsettling quiet gnawed at me. On a couple of occasions I considered leaving, but pain anchored me to the spot. On the TV, amidst the static, faint images started appearing. A surgery, perhaps. But then, why would they broadcast surgeries in a waiting room? Hesitantly, I squinted to get a clearer view. A heart monitor's rhythmic beep echoed faintly. I could see the face of the patient on the table. It was mine. The realization paralyzed me. My heart raced. I wanted to call out, to scream, but no voice emerged. Suddenly, an icy hand gripped my shoulder. I turned to see an elderly nurse with piercing blue eyes and silver hair tied back in a tight bun. "It's your turn now," she whispered in a voice that seemed to emanate from the grave itself. She led me to a room bathed in a ghastly green hue, the same room from the TV. The instruments on the tray glittered ominously. I tried to resist, but her grip was inhumanly strong. Laying on the table, I could see the doctors and nurses gather around, their faces hidden by masks. As the sedation flowed into my veins, I started to drift off. In my last moments of consciousness, I noticed something even more terrifying. The heart monitor next to me was flatlining. When I awoke, I was back in the waiting room. The sun streamed through the windows, and the room was bustling with patients. My arm was in a cast, and my forehead was neatly bandaged. The horrifying events of the night seemed like a distant nightmare. I quickly signed the discharge papers and made my way out. As I approached the exit, the same elderly nurse was at the reception. She looked up and gave me a cold, knowing smile. "Come back any time," she said, her voice dripping with malevolence. I bolted out of the hospital, swearing never to return. Months later, I came across an article about Saint Agnes Hospital. It had been closed and abandoned for years after a series of malpractice lawsuits. But then, where had I been that night? And more importantly,